What's up, guys? Welcome to vlog number 16. In this vlog we go over a couple things. We had a short session and there was no notable hands. It was a lot of ace king, raise, brick flop, a lot of missed draws. Not really a lot of notable hands to discuss. Nevertheless, we do want to include the loss that we had. We had a $198 loss. Sorry if it's loud, there's an airplane passing. $198 loss, and let's put that on the Bankroll challenge now. So in addition to the short session I just had where I had a loss, but it was a really short session, we had another session that I want to go over. It was at Hard Rock. We don't deviate these days because it's been running really good there. 2-5 session. This was on a Friday night, and we're gonna get into the hands right away, and I'm gonna let you know a breakdown of some of the key hands that I played. I played some hands a little bit different, I would say, this episode. I want to tell you guys something. I'm not always gonna play the GTO way or the optimal way because I think that limits your upside as far as profit. You need to learn to take risk here and there based on table dynamics, based on players. It's very important that you switch up your game so you don't just become robotic or just your opponents start to get reads on you. I'm not saying that I will do these plays often, but it's very important to just switch up your plays, and you'll see that in this episode. All right, and one of the very first hands of the night, pick up a nice starting hand. Ace Queen of Hearts, and I am in middle position. In this particular hand, I bump it up to 20 in the 2-5 game. It folds around to the small blind who calls, the big blind calls, and an under the gun limper decides to make the call. 4 ways to a flop. The flop comes pretty good. Queen Jack 7 rainbow, so we flop top, and small blind checks, big blind checks, and it's on me, and under the gun checks, and then it's on me. I think this is a spot where we flop top pair. We have a lot of opponents in the hand, so we definitely need to thin out the field. So we're gonna come in for a continuation bet, and I put out a bet of $50. A bet of $50 I think is good here. I'm betting about a little bit more than half pot, and it should give me information on my opponents. The small blind decides to call. The big blind folds, and the under the gun player also makes the call. So 2 opponents did call, and we're going to a turn now. The turn brings a deuce, pretty insignificant card at this point. It gets checked around to me again, so they've shown weakness a second time. So at this point I'm thinking I should probably put out another bet. I need to, again, maybe try to see where I'm at because they both did call. So I put out a bet of $100 to kind of see where their mindset is and if they're gonna fold, call, or raise. The small blind calls and the under the gun player calls. So at this point I'm starting to get a little worried as to what their holdings may be. The river comes and it brings an 8. This card isn't necessarily a good card for us as 9-10 gets there if there was open-ended straight draw. And the small blind actually is first to act, and he's checked the whole time, and he now leads out for $175. The under the gun player pretty much snap calls, and it's on me, and I think I may have thought of calling the small blind after his bet, but now that the under the gun player called, we gotta be beat. We only have 1 pair, and I think the decision is clear. I think we got to lay this one down, and we do just that, and the players turn over their hands, and pocket jacks hit a set, and he ends up winning the hand, which was a player under the gun. And yeah, we made a good fold. It was difficult as far as We were trying to get, you know, good value on the flop, thinking we were good. On the turn, we already knew we were in trouble. I think once I called my bet in the river, there is no option. We just gotta let it go. And a lot of players won't let go top pair, but definitely this is something that I've learned to do lately.
Because of what you said, he's bullshitting.
This next hand, we pick up the Cowboys, pocket kings. And we're in late position and we bump it up to $20. And the player in the cutoff decides to come in for a 3-bet and he makes it $65. It folds back around to me and I know what you're thinking, 4-bet. No, in this particular case, I decided to take a different line. This has been the tightest player at the table. He has not played a hand in hours, I want to say 2 hours, and I think he knows I'm a competent player, and I decide here just to make the call of $65 instead of 4-betting. It's probably a little bit nitty as I'm only losing to aces, but it also negates the strength of my hand as he probably will never put me on pocket kings, as that's always a 4-bet. So I decide just to make the smooth call of 65 and decide to see the flop. The flop comes and it's pretty good. Let's not front. It's pretty freaking good. It's king 8-7. We flop top set, 2 clubs on the flop. Here, easy check. Let our opponent continue his raise, his c-betting. You know, as most times, most players are gonna c-bet, hit or miss, and it works to perfection. I check and he throws out a bet of 65. Here, I'm never gonna try to get him off his hand, so I just make the call of $65. So we're off to a turn, and the turn brings a 2 of clubs. This brings in the flush, and again, even though there's now 3 clubs on the board, I'm not scared of much, and I'm gonna decide to put in a check. So I put in a check, and unfortunately, our opponent does not come in for a bet again, and he also decides to check. The river brings an 8, and now we have a boat. Kings full of 8s. Now the decision here is a difficult one. We can either put in a bet for some value, but if our opponent completely missed, we're not allowing him the chance to bluff at the pot. And chances are his check on the turn means he missed and he may have a hand like ace-king. So I'm gonna let him try to bluff at this. I decide to check and he checks back and we know we're good. We turn over the boat and he just mucks. So I'm thinking he had a hand like ace-queen. I don't know why I said ace-king. He would have flopped top pair earlier. So backtrack that. Hands like ace-queen, ace-jack, you know, maybe some sort of pairs. So yeah, we kind of let him try to bluff at the pot. He didn't bluff at it and we take it down. I don't think a bet on the river would have made a difference. He would have probably just mucked based on how he played the hand. But we take down a pot nevertheless.
I've got 3 players up from this table, so I don't want to move them quite yet.
20 up.
So now we get to those rather unorthodox, hands that we end up playing in this session. The hand itself isn't a weird hand, but the way I played it in my position is a little bit different. So we have 9-5 of diamonds under the gun. Easy fold, right? Not this guy. Bump it up to 20. Why? Why not? So I bump it up to 20 and the cutoff, the button, the small blind, and the big blind all call. Not the result we wanted. We do not want 4 callers, but hey, you never know. So we go 5 ways to the flop. The flop comes out 10, 5, deuce, 2 clubs, and we flop mid pair. I'm first act, and with 4 players behind, I'm gonna take the line of checking and seeing what my opponents do. So I check, and luckily they all check around, and we're gonna be able to see a turn card. And the turn comes, and boom, we smash it. A 9 comes out. We flop 2 pair. That was our plan. We didn't flop 2 pair, we turned 2 pair, excuse me. And super happy about that. So our pre-flop raise worked to perfection. This is not gonna happen often, but it did. It checks around, small blind checks. The big blind decides to put out a bet of $55. And here we have a decision. We can either smooth call to not display the strength of our hand, but with the amount of players in the hand, I think this is a perfect raising opportunity. We aren't that strong as we don't have top 2. But this board, there is some straight draws, as there's a 10 and 9, anybody with 8-7, and there is 2 clubs. And the turn was not a club. So we're gonna do a min raise, as we do wanna keep the big blind in the hand. And we bump it up to 110. Everyone folds and it's back to the big blind. This player's a pro. He is a regular. He's won a lot of money playing tournaments, cash games, and I have a general idea how he plays, and I'm pretty sure he's going to call this min raise, as if he has any sort of holding that where he has any sort of draw, he's definitely never folding. And he calls the $55 raise to 110, and we're going to a river. The river brings us 6, and he checks. I'm not sure what to do here. This isn't that much of a scare card. 8-7 gets there. I don't know. I think I just played too weak here, and I just check back, turn over my cards, and we're good. I missed a lot of value, I can tell you that now. You can tell me in the comment section below. I definitely should have bet. I understand that. If I'm raising the turn, why am I not betting the river? I don't know. Let me know down in the comments down below how badly I messed up this river bet. I know. But we take down the pot, and the night's going good so far. So let's keep it rolling. This next hand, we're under the gun with complete garbage again. Yes, that is correct. Queen 6 of hearts. Are we going to fold? No, 9-5 of diamonds worked. Let's try it again. So with Queen 6 of hearts, we come in for a raise. This time we put it a little bit bigger, and we bet $25. Under the gun 1 calls, under the gun +2 calls, and the button calls. So we're going 4 ways to a flop. Every time we raise under the gun, we get called by a lot of players. So the flop comes, and when I say we flop the world, do we flop the world? Pretty much. 9-8-7, 8-7 of hearts, open-ended straight draw, flush draw. It's a great result with our hand. I'm first to act, and I'm gonna come in for a small bet. I don't want to lose the players. They're not gonna put me on this type of hand, so I make it $30, and under the gun +1 makes the call, under the gun +2 makes the call, and the button folds. So we're going 3 ways to the turn. The turn, I would say, is a rather interesting card. It's a rather great card. The turn is none other than the 5 of hearts. If our hand could get any better, this is probably the way it could get a lot better. 5 of hearts, flush, straight. We have it all. We don't care about the straight. We got the flush. We're hoping our opponents have a straight. I'm first to act, and the pot is close to 200 at this point. And I'm gonna put in a small bet. It's gonna look like a weak bet, and I bet $55, trying to get my opponents to come along the ride for the ride, and they both decide to call. I thought maybe one of them might raise with the straight, so I'm not quite sure if they have the straight or not at this point, but it's a good result that they both called, as we have a queen high flush at this point. The river comes, and it's an insignificant card. It's like a 3 or I can't remember exactly which card it is. It's kind of low. What card was it? It was a non-heart 3. I know it wasn't a heart. So nobody with like an ace or king or hearts got there. So it's on me, and I'm thinking, how can I extract a lot of money? Or how can I get a value bet that somebody pays me off? I'm thinking if anybody has a straight, they're calling anyways. So I'm gonna go for a bigger size bet here, so I go close to pot size, a little bit less, and I bet $275. It also could look as a bluff, as I bet 30, then 50 something, and then now a big bet of 275. Under the gun +1 folds. Under the gun +2 thinks about it for a while. He's pondering, he's thinking, he's pondering, he's thinking. He makes the call. We turn over our flush and we are good. Nice size pot here, close to a $900 size pot. We are really happy with this result, as this session, 2 of our under the gun weak holding hands flopped or turned very good hands. It isn't always going to happen, but usually that'd be a folding situation. Look at the profit I got. You got to switch it up. You got to switch it up. Anyways, as always, time for the Bankroll challenge, part 2. We end up scooping a profit of over $1,000, as you'll see in this next screen, and we are now around $97,000 away from our goal. So we've made $3,000 of profit in these sessions. Check out the screen now. As always, I hope you guys enjoyed the vlog, and remember to like and subscribe. Leave your comments down below for any of the hands or any feedback in regards to the vlog, or anything you just might want to talk about related to poker. As always, thank you for watching. Be on the lookout for a new vlog coming to a YouTube near you. Till next time, peace out.